look official now.
Well, just gonna crack this beer open and enjoy it for a while.
There you go.
So, as predicted,
Hey, Rob.
Andrew Bauman.
Was it too early?
Yeah, I just thought we were going into the banter phase, but that's okay.
No, that's totally fine. I just didn't want to forget again.
You can't retract it.
It's too late.
You cannot retract it.
Once it's out there.
So I had some problems with my water softener, and I just unhooked it and tried to go from the least expensive parts to the most expensive parts, and so I replaced the gaskets, but that wasn't it. So it's the whole shutoff valve, which is just a plastic assembly, and you're like, well, it really should be the gaskets, but no, let's spend another $60-$70 on that. Because I was a little bit worried about the shutoff valve just being a plastic plunger.
Yeah.
Literally anchoring the entirety of all my water in the house.
In the house, yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't that long to replace, but now I'm finding that the little board, about the size of a deck of cards.
How long has this water softener been softening?
Better part of 10 years. So...
For a little plastic part, that's a good amount of time.
I believe this is the second time I've replaced the shutoff valve.
Oh, look, you came
the
to make
board,
a little visit.
Yeah, the board itself is $189, but it's returnable. But I just took it out, and I've been playing around with it, and I think I can program it and then put it back in. I think the buttons are a little janky. And once you set up the program, I should really never have to really screw with it. Because I don't even know how it works. The guy that installed it set it up, you know? So,
yeah.
Anyway, that's a lot of talking, and I just wanted to sit here and, because it was like, you know, in the laundry room, it's a little warm and you're frustrated. I was like, shirts off plumbing. Because I was just pitting out.
You're getting into character.
Yeah.
Hi, Hazel.
I wasn't getting a good enough plumber's crack with my shirt on.
You wanted to be more authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah, method acting.
Right. Hazel, all of a sudden.
Yeah. Dog of the show, Hazel.
Yeah, Hazel.
You've never seen her, but she's there.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope you have things planned. I don't really.
What have you been doing lately, Rob? Living a whole life? That sounds nice.
I mean, kinda. I mean, I did have some meetings to talk about potential things that we might run as bills, or things that I think it was more of a what do we agree on and where do we want to go next to see what the opportunities might be. And there's always an attempt to redraft things in our alcohol laws to make them more clear, you know, and sometimes it's like, well, we could
continue tacking more bullshit on top of the stuff we have.
I mean, that's always a given. That's always the easiest way to get something done, is to sort of come up with an idea and see if you can make it work. But every once in a while, you got to go back and see what language doesn't make sense, what might be inconsistent with federal law, what might, and I don't want to get into specifics, but what might have two definitions, what might, well, I'll say we're characterized as retailers and distributors as brewers, but we're not actually that status. And I'm not talking about that, fixing that, but like every word in the statute should have meaning. And if two words mean essentially the same thing but aren't the same thing, then we should probably we should at least understand why it was put in that way and what our answer is if it would ever bite us in the ass. And we found one of those things, and we're not sure if it really means anything, but we really should fix it. Historically, I was told that there was a discussion about it, and the people at the DLLC maintained that, well, it must be in there for a reason. They must use these two words, and they must have different meanings. And Sometimes that's just not true. Sometimes
Why don't you want to just say the words?
I don't know, because it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because it's strategery.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it's just words.
Anyway, we had a good long talk about that. We had to talk about some other products and understanding them. I thought we were talking about products made from whey, but we weren't. It was more along when we fixed the bitters, and we do like our bitters in this industry. We do like them for cocktails. We do things like Underberg are sort of a thing at some of our taproom breweries.
I had a regional Underberg manager reach out to me yesterday. They love being at our events.
Yeah. So, and I just think they're complementary to our industry. I don't think they really. I think they're a cultural touchstone. And I was talking to Gary from Distillers, and I said, "Hey, I don't think it makes any sense economically, but it would be really nice to get our laws so that everyone would feel comfortable. I don't want a batch of beer schnapps together just for the hell of it. You're basically distilling beer, and a couple of people have done it. Most recently that I remember, Steve Tracy, when he started distilling over at Thunder Canyon downtown, he would make beer schnapps once in a while, just sort of that
on a lark.
Yeah, and they were really good because you can sort of taste the analog of the beer sometimes. So you would get you'd get some malt character. You would understand the difference between, distilling a lighter beer and a darker beer. And you might get some hop character, believe it or not, in some of these. So anyway, stuff like that.
Cool.
Just things that kind of are on the margins, and you don't want them to ever be the focus, right? So that's kind of what we talked about, amongst some other things. But yeah, that's those kinds of meetings. I'm just kind of, and I need to do those with some of those distillers, the distributors, and sort of find out where we are on things. And this week, going to be talking to the A250 people, America 250. They want to do pop-up taverns, and I don't know if they are aware of the special events, licensing, and all that stuff. So we'll have a call on that, and we'll see. And I'll just merely suggest that throwing a jockey box full of big mainstream beers isn't really recreating the revolutionary tavern, if you will. I think to be fair, they should have a certain amount of cider offerings, and
sure.
I think to the degree we have some willing people, and I think we do. At least a couple cask beers.
Yeah, I love it.
Something more English style as well.
Traditional.
I mean, I'm so we'll see.
Yeah.
Cool. And speaking of cider, the apple tree in my backyard in Flagstaff, started to noodle on what we're going to do with those apples. I think we're going to try to press them and make apple cider, maybe some applejack.
Cool.
Have you ever pressed your own apples?
I have not.
Yeah.
You need a device for that.
Yeah, I was gonna. I know I've seen one over at the homebrew store in Flagstaff. I prefer to rent it. I don't want to buy a $200 apple press for once every 3 years.
I wonder if our friends at the Arizona Society of Homebrewers.
They might. The yield is like a 5-gallon bucket gives you a gallon of juice maybe. Yeah. And there's a lot of prep work before that, but it'll be a fun afternoon.
Sure.
So
Brady has an apple tree in his backyard too. I didn't know Flagstaff was such an apple town.
Yeah, well, you need a freeze, and you need pollinating plants to be nearby. This is like our 4th summer maybe this is the 2nd time we've had apples. So, and I think part of it is we kind of trimmed up the tree a little bit, and somehow it just kicked into gear.
That'll happen. Sure.
Yeah.
Pruning is a thing.
Yeah, but the apples pollinate better with not the exact same species. So
right.
People have crabapple trees a lot of times, and they're a great pollinator for other fruits. We had a crabapple tree in Wisconsin. It was kind of a pain in the ass. A lot of fruit dropped. A lot of crab apples got mowed by the lawnmower.
We had walnut trees.
Walnut trees, yeah.
Like 6 of them.
Yeah.
Those things are messy as hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Giant fruit, hard nut. You don't want to run over that with your lawnmower.
No.
It's not good.
Tom and Jill have a pecan tree in their backyard, and their dog can shuck pecans.
How fun. And
Hazel can shuck sunflower seeds.
Nice.
Yeah.
Does she just put it in her mouth and then spit it out?
She eats it, and all of a sudden there's this seed mostly intact. So,
cool.
Yeah.
All right. We should talk beer a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
Andrew Bauman.
Hey, Rob.
There you go.
We're there.
Yeah.
All right. Since festival time is January through June.
Sure.
I've been spending my days working on our website.
Right.
I've spent a lot of time doing more visits to our breweries.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Focusing on getting social media activity. So not only posting and telling the world about the great things our breweries do, but also liking and commenting on their posts. This is a job.
It is. It is something that way back in the day when we started a website, we had a company do it for us. You know, and then we would contribute to it, and then we get focused on events or focused on legislation, and kind of went to the wayside. I know a lot of our members do appreciate it. It would be very much easier if they would send us stuff especially with some context, but we'll see. Maybe they'll get there. It's really hard for them to understand. I mean, you see it, but it's really hard to translate that to a sale.
Yeah.
I mean, we know intuitively eventually that does lead to a sale to be more likely, but so I think that's part of it. Is like, man, I can send all this stuff, but might not see customer one ever.
And I don't know what I get to see from our breweries either, because the algorithm puts whatever's on there, right? And the more I like other people's posts, the more I see their stuff, probably to the detriment of ones that don't post as frequently.
Speaking of algorithms.
Oh, talk to me, Goose.
I sent you some stuff.
Yeah?
For some reason, all of a sudden, every one of my Facebook ads and Instagram ads is an ad to add something to something. But specifically, I think, I haven't examined all of them. I was just screenshotting them and sending them to you. But like, it started with adding THC to beverages. And there was a dumb ad, and
Do you want me to recreate it?
Okay.
Hi, it's Father's Day, and I gave my dad the best gift ever. It's this bottle that he just takes a little bit and adds it to his beer, and then he just gets super chill, and it's so nice. It's the best gift I've ever given him.
Right. And nowhere in
I did it well.
You did it great.
Thanks.
There was an even more dumb one where a guy gets hit in the face several times every time he drinks it. It's the same company.
Okay.
Anyway, it doesn't tell you what it is. I mean, you really have to dig.
At all.
And it's THC. And they're showing it, pouring it into an alcoholic beverage.
Yep.
And this is, I guess the government saved us from ourselves, so we can't create it. We can't incorporate it into the alcohol system. And we can't have our bars and restaurants monitor consumption in a reasonable way. And we can't work towards the lowest dosage that people will consume and enjoy themselves over the course of a day. We can't do that. So therefore now we're getting ads of people literally putting it into alcohol, which is not recommended. I mean, it would be illegal for any of us to do.
On a manufacturing basis. Right?
I know a lot of people do it. But they also, that's a whole learning curve for an ad to do that completely irresponsibly and use the trade dress and marks for, I'm going to say it, Heineken. And that's got to drive them nuts. I can't, if it was my product in there, I'd C&D them in a heartbeat, because you're suggesting that's an appropriate use They also showed them in restaurants, pouring it on food.
In that case, they had a little card
Yeah.
that you snap in half,
Right.
and then it breaks and the little liquid comes out
So I had
on your pizza.
3 or 4 of the same companies, like every ad, every ad, every third ad. And then there'd be like some other anti-hangover thing. I mean, they're really full ass assailing alcohol.
I don't get those.
Oh, well, I don't know what happened. You got
I
one.
got them for a while.
Yeah.
I got them while we were really working on the hemp stuff.
I guarantee you the act of screenshotting, I bet they get that's still an engagement. So yeah. So I did it to myself in some ways. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, they also have the ones in the little card style that I was talking about, where it's not a bottle, it's just a card, single serving thing.
Right.
And they encourage you to bring it into the baseball game.
Oh yeah, you said the Little League game?
Yeah, bring it. Mom and dad can have their THC while the kids are playing Little League.
Now, I don't have children, and I have heard many stories about Little League, and that might be a great use. But as a company, I don't think that's what you lead with.
Right. They can figure that out on their own without you. You can find other appropriate uses, maybe. I don't know.
So you know, the long shot is like, does that get us as a society where we could be a little bit, is this their answer? Is like, well, we're not going to do the full beverage thing. We're just going to, just like we do with our smokable and edible product, we're just going to yeet it everywhere and let everyone else deal with it. That's my issue. And I don't give a rip whether these are THC derived from flower or from hemp. This is bullshit. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know how enforceable it is. I don't know. But the fact that
it's wild.
Some of our breweries are getting, blocked from ads because it has alcohol, and now you have somebody putting something into alcohol.
Right.
I don't get it. It just drives me nuts.
So one of our board members, Tyler Smith, had his Facebook account hijacked, and he doesn't understand why. He did have a friend that worked at Meta. They're working on getting it back. He's got access to his Facebook again, but his ad account is blocked because this phishing scam, the person spent $600 to boost one of his own posts. He boosted one of Kitsune Brewing's posts for $600. I mean, Tyler does a good job of boosting his posts at $10 and $15 increments for a few days. $600 on just one random post for no reason, just to be a dick.
I don't understand how that helped that person.
I don't. It didn't. maybe they work on commission. I don't know.
Interesting.
Weird.
Yeah. Well, that's what's been going on in my mind. There's a couple things I wanted to that I saw online, but I don't have my laptop or my pad, so we might have to address that after a break or something. But if you have things to talk about, I'm ready to.
Well, I went yesterday to O.H.S.O Distillery up in Scottsdale, and it is so different. I know they did a big remodel last year, but I hadn't been there since, and it is a completely different space. It's really cool.
Okay.
I like what they've done, and it was busy. I mean, the parking lot was busy.
Yeah, I think you mentioned when you asked me if I was there. I was there a long time ago when they just finished, but I never got off the patio. I never went inside.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of crowded and busy, and so I never got.
I went in and just walked around and then ended up at the patio bar because it was a relatively nice. It wasn't a nice day. It was hot as hell yesterday, but with their misters and the shade, I was completely comfortable sitting out there.
Yeah. Well, I have to check it out for that because it's been a while since I sat on one of those climate-controlled patios. But I'm just trying to remember. I was there, and it was. I ended up talking to Dakeen Beckman for quite a while. That's in his hood, I guess. So.
And then we went to, after that, went over to Pinnacle Brewing. And the Swedish American Chamber of Commerce.
That's it. You got it.
Phew. Swedish American Chamber of Commerce had their last summer brewery tour. They go.
I have a package delivery. It's okay though. We don't.
Okay.
We can ignore them.
They go to different breweries every week, every Tuesday night. They have 3 goals. 1, raise money for an organization that funds scholarships for future diplomats for go across different countries and learn about the culture and things. They also have a goal of being a networking group for people in the field, which is great, and also to push potentially new customers into breweries on a night that otherwise might be slow. So I think those are pretty lofty goals that Jay put together.
Yeah, and I was hoping to hit at least 2 more. I only hit this one, last one. I just kind of got wrapped around the axle on something else, and I couldn't make it. And they were, one was at 100 Mile right down the road here, and one was at O.H.S.O downtown, right?
They did O.H.S.O.
O.H.S.O, yeah, these are all in my backyard.
Perch, yeah.
So it was. I have a mutual friend of other people on their board of directors, so I did sort of scratch the surface in talking to a couple folks about that, and I was like, yeah, now that I have this other role, I kind of want to dig in deeper into what you guys do, and since they reached out and have been doing things at our businesses, I wanted to understand a little bit more about their business. And it was, it's mostly, as you would expect, it's mostly in mining and in tech. But those are industries going in 2 different directions. Tech is starting. Tech hardware, chip is starting to see some struggle. There's been some layoffs, and mining. I don't know. Those tariffs could somewhat benefit mining here in the state. I don't know. I mean, they're speaking of tariffs.
Oh, hey.
We are officially under a 15% EU tariff, so that'd be specialty malts, hops, all that, and
yeast.
And I know that the administration has put out something like a record amount collected in tariff revenue.
Yeah.
Those are taxes collected by U.S. citizens.
From U.S. citizens to the
Yes.
U.S. Treasury.
Right.
Record numbers. So great.
Right. We have been taxed a record amount by our own government. And so this 15%.
I mean, it all depends on your look at it.
No.
Maybe the governments of those countries are paying those tariffs.
That's not, there's no mechanism to do that. It's not accurate in any shape or form.
Just plain devil's advocate, bro.
They either immediately and preemptively raise their prices, or some do absorb it for a while, but these are extended out, like for a longer period. This 15% tariff, like literally, the EU just agreed to it because they don't give a shit anymore. They don't want to do business with us any longer. Their products, they've been working on other markets. They don't need the American market, or they built in the stability of a long-term 15% for something that they might ratchet down or up, because if they get too much of a deal and they talk about it, it drives the old man insane, and he has to change it. And I'm not just making this up. This is documented in the fact that he ripped up NAFTA, created the USMCA, which is almost the same.
But it's terrible.
And
it's
then
horrible
he ripped
for
it
America.
up, and then he ripped it up again. It's his own deal. So they literally
like
said,
the Fed chairman.
They literally said, They literally said 15%. Okay, fine. Energy credits, great. Put out whatever number you want in there, because we're only buying 80% of it, because this is all we buy anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no deal. And
did you not read the book?
the you know, people may not notice because we'll just stop making the really nice Golden Promise. Oh, that's the UK. It's the same situation.
Yeah.
We'll stop using continental hops and continental grains, and I think our beer will suffer to some degree. I think
Our breweries will suffer. I guarantee you that malting companies are not absorbing the additional cost of tariffs. That's just not a thing they can do. They don't make enough money to absorb an extra 15% cost on their goods.
No, and looking at the chatter from our colleagues, like some of the large states, 400, 500 breweries, with conferences where they have 500 people show up and they have 120 vendors and they have, a ridiculous amount of brewery shop. Their sponsorships are being pulled back. And that's the tariff.
Right.
In combination with a downturn in our business. But I mean, the tariff has got to be like, well, we're all sucking this up now. No, you're going to buy what you're going to buy. Especially if you're like Malt Europe and you're not going to roll out some nationwide campaign for people to buy more of your malt. I mean,
right.
It's spending a lot of money to, in effect, say ignore this ridiculous policy and just go about doing business as usual. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
Weirman, very popular, very high-end grain that many of our breweries use.
Exactly.
Exclusively.
Yeah.
They won't change away from it. They're just going to have to increase prices.
Right. So
that's not great right now.
No, and you're used to seeing the same pipe price for a lot of places. Occasionally, things like barrel aged and triple IPA or something that might signal like, well, I might have to pay a little bit more, or I'm going to get it in a 10-ounce glass. That's how we fix a lot of that stuff. But
right.
I mean, you want a heritage lager using those European ingredients. You want to feel like you're, in a beer garden in Munich. You're going to have to pay a little bit more. I can't imagine how they're going to absorb that. I mean, it sits in the tank a long time too.
Yeah.
So big concerns for me on that.
Locally, I ran into someone today who was trying to do a political action by getting a referendum for Tempe's park rules, and they are being supported by Bottle Shop 48. So I just wanted to shout that out. They have someone sitting at Bottle Shop 48 taking signatures today and tomorrow.
Yeah, we should parse through that a little bit. It seems like this increase in fees and enforcement has been a response they thought was somebody in the council, or all of them maybe, thought was an ingenious way to stop homeless people from migrating in areas where food was distributed by people with good intentions. I mean, I don't think anyone gives away food with bad intentions to homeless people. But you can imagine where people in neighborhoods are like, well, there's just people hanging out here all the time and there's no event today, but why would they stray too far away from where this is? And so the whole thing was like, well, they wanted to look at their special event use case thing and or the way they do special events. And generally people interact with special event licenses when it's a city park or something that's managed directly by the town or the state. That's how we have come to know that
the
for
process.
Festivals.
Yeah. Larger festivals.
But in some cases, if you have something on private property, you do need to interface with the town because of parking, road closures, and things like that. But it sounds like they want to do it for every single thing that doesn't fall into the business use. So if in the past you could get, say, a strip shop, a strip mall owner open up a parking lot for some sort of, it doesn't have to be a beer fest, it could be a craft fair or whatever.
Art fair.
And it really doesn't impact the city because the amount of traffic isn't enough to really warrant traffic control or blockage of streets and all that stuff. So whereas I think to the letter of the law, you probably should have gotten a permit. I believe they were relatively inexpensive, but now they're $250 and for everything. If it doesn't fall into the use of your business, then you need to do this. And this is where, when we have our event at Tempe, the historical Arizona Heritage Museum in Tempe, it's arguable whether we would have to actually get a Tempe permit. We have in the past, just because we wanted to establish that we don't think we have to, but we're going to do it anyway. And here's why: it's just to have the conversation. And we did it. It was $25 or something like that.
Right.
And now I'd be like, I don't know. Like, how do you feel that this doesn't fit into that? They have an auditorium. People are going to be in the auditorium. I mean, I guess the introduction of beer would be a thing. But they have other events. Like, these are things that would really punish, a venue like that, a venue that doesn't like extract large amounts of money from people like to do events. They're there to serve the public. They're there to be available. They're there to educate people on Tempe and Arizona history.
Right.
So like having a large amount of people there is part of their mission. So it doesn't matter if you're there for a beer awards where people can stroll through the museum and enjoy themselves and learn about the mission of the organization. Doesn't matter to them, because it's more than organically they're going to get on a Wednesday or whatever.
Right.
So this is a bad idea, and they're digging in. And the petition is the petition. It doesn't change anything except maybe force the issue. But
they're trying to get a
voter referendum.
A referendum, yeah.
Yeah.
In Tempe only.
This is a loser for that council, and I've supported a lot of people on that council, past and present. I haven't engaged directly on it, and I'm going to have to decide what to do about it because I think it's a bad idea what they're doing.
Hey, you want to talk about politics? That's a good idea.
Okay.
You got to meet Barry Wong yesterday.
Yeah. He's was a legislator in the 18th district from the 90s to 2001-ish, and then has done some public-private things, and then was briefly with the Arizona Commerce, and part of the Ducey administration. But you talked to him about the relevant beer history part of it. It was a thrill to meet him because I didn't recognize him. He also works with people that I know, obviously the people at SACC, with people at Arizona Commerce Authority, people who work with businesses and government to arrive at programming and grants and funding and advertisement to get business moving. That's sometimes us, right?
Right.
But you recount the conversation you had about his role in beer.
When microbreweries became a thing, which is what we're called still. There were 2 breweries in the state, and they didn't really have a proper license. So creating the microbrewery permit was one of the things that he was instrumental in getting through, the original microbrewery permit. And at the time he was even talking about maximums and minimums, and he remembered everything about that bill. It was pretty cool. So
yeah.
We've changed the hell out of it. So
yeah,
we fixed your bill, bro.
I mean, yeah. Well, he's got nothing to be ashamed about. I don't think there was any understanding of what
10,000 gallons as a minimum is a lot.
It is a lot, but I don't think any.
They didn't know what that meant.
I don't think the people who got the license knew what it meant.
Right.
So, and it was fixed eventually. And I don't think they shut anyone down. I don't think there's a history of
rescinding licenses.
I take that with a grain of salt. They definitely have rescinded other liquor licenses for completely valid reasons.
Sure.
But in the case of an administrative piece, I don't think so. But they've definitely said, hey, if you don't fix this, if you don't get this extra license that you really need and you need it from the beginning, I think then they're going to do some stuff. And people generally complied.
Right.
I'm talking about people who got a number 3 license and then never got around to making any beer.
It does happen.
It does.
Yeah. Remember when Ariba
Yes.
put breweries in like 4 or 5 of their restaurants?
Yes.
And then made like 2 batches of beer in each restaurant?
Yes.
Why did they do that?
There was an era where they were sold on extract brewing, and it wasn't that extract brewing was a bad idea. I mean, like a lot of people extract brew like on the homebrew scale. It was that they really build it as almost a janitorial function. Like someone fills the tank and adds this, turns it on. It was very, like microwave oven kind of technology.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think that's what really killed them. And
I do get those ads in my feed. You can put a microbrewery into your restaurant in only 100 square feet.
Really, they're bringing those back?
It comes up in my feed every now and again.
So that was the issue. And as you know, I mean, you can have one of those systems and like make incredibly good beer for a while, but your bad habits or the lack of awareness of what a bad habit is, even you're like, it's not making soup.
Right.
When you're done, cleaning it, there's microorganisms that never go away.
Hoses, pumps.
Yeah.
Those things exist in those systems, and they don't really give you a good way of cleaning them.
Right. So that was, I think, what they ran into because like I remember having it and it was like, it wasn't the greatest, but it was, like they were pushing it. I mean, I'm eating a Mexican meal, and this is before a lot of people had awareness of the difference between craft beer or micro beer, small batch beer, small breweries and large breweries. Like, well, this is okay. But those things catch up. And so like they were notorious for just suspending their license for a long time. And I don't know any of the intricacies of it, but like I do remember when we talked about limiting the number of licenses, their name came up, and I was like kind of cavalierly like, they have a license in name only. Like they've been shutting their locations down, and for a restaurant like that people naturally gravitate towards Modelo and a Mexican brand beer. I mean, their distributors had to be hating on the idea of them just literally cooking beer.
But they're creating a solution where there is no problem.
I mean, I don't know. But
I mean, I'm all for people putting breweries.
I don't know that they looked at it as. I mean, I don't know. I can't put myself in their heads, but like, it wasn't. It's probably marketed as a way to save money or make more money. I'm not convinced that that was the reason for it. Like, that's a lot of locations, and somebody probably was a fan of
craft beer and the upper side of the company and said, let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, because it is a really inexpensive solution, but like when you're talking about 5 or 6 restaurants and having a program, I mean, that was somebody's baby, right?
Yeah.
So I know people that had it would probably be like, oh no, it needs to be shit on and all that stuff. Like, we just never had our organization, as I know, never had an opportunity to reach out to them and understand what their whole purpose was. But I mean, now that we've lowered the minimum, I mean, we sort of opened ourselves up to this again. And I would hope that there's a wider base and a larger body of knowledge about what good beer is and all that stuff. So I'm less concerned about it. Especially, some of our customers can be brutal. So I don't think that somebody making a lot of bad beer is going to be a drag on our industry.
Yeah.
Like it was back then. So.
I don't know if you know this, but.
Oh, I know everything, Andrew.
There are 2 big beer stories right now.
I don't know what this is.
One is Hulk Hogan.
Oh, okay.
And his Great American Beer.
Yeah.
which
real
is
American.
Real American beer, which is
You can be a great American, but if you're not a real American,
it doesn't
what
count.
kind of American are you?
Oh my God, so terrible. That beer is continuing despite his passing.
Okay.
So that's one thing.
So, but there's like a $10 million lawsuit
Okay.
surrounding intellectual property of that beer, and not on the marketing side. On whoever they chose to contract brew, there was some lawsuit. I don't know the details. Can I just? I've thrown some things out on social media about this whole, and I've said it, but I want to make something really clear. I have definitely said, here's a guy who stopped drinking, opened a brewery, and then pretended to drink to push his beer. I want to point out that I know a lot of people who work in this industry that no longer drink. My point is, I don't see any of them literally shotgunning a beer on CNN to sell their beer.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a difference. I totally have respect for people who have decided to not drink in an environment where they are more vulnerable to, slipping on that commitment than anyone else. And they have they have a fine line to weave in saying, I own this company that makes this product. I choose not to drink it. That's a really fine line. And I think everyone that I know that's in that position has made sure they're not forced into a situation where they're going to have to.
And generally, when that happens, these owners of breweries that are living a sober life really lean on they get satisfaction in the jobs that they've created.
Yes.
In the community that they've built. And they still feel part of the organization, even though beer is not their focus.
Right. Well, it's also bartenders. It's also people who are not necessarily in a direct ownership or have a minimal stake, perhaps.
But those people aren't then looked at to be like, oh, you should be drinking.
No, I'm just saying, like, they look at the job as community, and they also are the first to recommend having non-alcoholic
options.
Yeah. So I hope no one ever. I haven't heard any pushback, but my whole point was this guy really had no rudder on his boat in terms of. And there are other stories that support that.
I mean, we're not necessarily debating him, but that beer is going to continue. So you can rest assured you can still get.
Did hear from
American
somebody
beer
online who talked about it and said that it was actually not a phoned in ton of beer, but this goes back to the original contract brew that they had. So there are people behind it that understand beer on the beer side.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had it. Apparently it's available. I just haven't had it.
I don't remember seeing it, but I probably wasn't looking for it either. So.
Yeah, I'm not going to go out of my way.
Yeah. And the other big national beer story is King of the Hill Alamo beer was supposed to be released yesterday. Unfortunately, there was somebody
forgot.
Somebody
forgot the Alamo
issues. Someone forgot the Alamo. So that will actually be hitting stores in Texas on Friday now.
Was not aware of that.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Alamo beer from King of the Hill.
Who's the
Texas brewery? I'm not sure which one.
Okay.
Actually, well, let's see. Let's see. I have the info. It's right here.
There was something else.
Distribution glitch.
Contract side. Oh, did I sent you an article about garage beer?
Yes.
So I want to talk about that. So if you know about garage beer, you probably know. Well, you might know of a garage brewery in California, which is not it. This is a brewery. This is a brand made by a brewery in Ohio, and it was just called Garage, and it started selling really well before the
Kelsey Brothers.
They say Kelsey, but it's really Kels. I'm cursed by this knowledge. Just like I know that it's Chuck Knoll, not Chuck Knoll, but there was a Chuck Knoll head coach, and so like he just roll with it. So.
Right.
Anyway, they got on board as sponsors and investors, and took their marketing up
Crazy.
But this is a beer that sold exceedingly well, beat the market, making a light lager, American style, I don't know, like for lack of better things, an upscale bullshit beer, right? But it did well. And there was a Vine Pier article, and I don't recall who wrote it. But they talked about how the head brewer of that beer said, I actually prefer, and I think a lot of people who are beer aficionados prefer the old version, but we changed the version because the focus wasn't on people that we know, the focus was on people we don't know. So think about this. And I think about this in particular to entire categories. Like, we're reaching by making the best IPA or a subset of the styles of IPA. We're not growing the market. We're just regurgitating the same crowd. And
this article was written by Evan Rail.
Oh, Evan Rail. Yeah. Okay, so he's a well-known beer writer in Europe. If you ever go to the Czech Republic, he's got several pieces that you should read. Yeah. So it was unusual. Thank you for pointing that out. It's unusual to get this kind of a piece from him on an American brewery, but as a skilled beer writer, he rolled with it. But the whole concept of saying, this is a good beer, but we could sell a lot more of it if it wasn't so good of a beer. And I think my thoughts on this are sometimes I'm sitting and we're drinking beers and someone will say, well, what do you think of that? And I literally have to change my brain to sort of get into it. And, sometimes it's fine. Sometimes it just takes me out of the whole moment.
Right.
Right? Like, and I have my 3 beer rule. If I have last night when we were at Pinnacle, I had the German style lager, German Pils. And one of the owners talked for a while and he said, what do you think of that? And I said, well, I think it's just fine, but it's not going to stop me from getting something else. There's also a fork in that reality where I said, this is great. And then I never get off of it.
Rachel Benkowski was at that event last night.
Yeah.
She had a flight and said that she couldn't believe how perfect to style the Czech Pils and the German Pils were.
The Czech Pils I thought was better. And I thought, I got their Helles. I went on the lager tour there, which four different beers. I saw you had the Tempe Pivo, so that I didn't have that.
Yeah.
That's the Czech style.
Czech style dark lager.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
And the Rauch beer. Did I say it right?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but I preferred the Czech style. I preferred it, and also I thought it was more to style than the German. Anyway, the 3 beer rule is if I have the same beer at a place like that 3 times in a row, means I'm having a good time where the beer is excellent because I don't have to think about it.
Right.
It's the right beer at the right time.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, all right, well, what was your favorite beer of the night? And they lined them up, then you'd have to sort of dive in. And those are like 2 different things. So you sort of have to, anyone listen to this and us, we sometimes have to kill that part of our brain to have a good time sometimes, right?
Right.
And so I can understand.
It's like restaurant managers going out to eat.
Right.
All you see is the annoying things.
Yeah. Yeah. But this is the reason why you go out and after a while, every brewer is drinking a Banquet or Miller High Life. PBR.
Montucky.
Yeah. It's no longer the point.
Right. We're here to be with the people, not
Right.
seek out.
Yeah, it's
And there's a time and place for both, for sure.
right. So that's the dynamic that I think they've hit. And I haven't had the beer, so I'll probably crack and go. Yeah.
They were at Arizona Strong Beer Festival.
See, I didn't know.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah. No, I mean, well, that just shows you.
They didn't show up, though. The Kelsey brothers didn't make an appearance.
Their beer was there. I'm just saying that just goes to show you like how important and large an event that is. Like that, I missed that. But I mean, I have a different focus, obviously. Anyway, interesting article, and it's something to think about. And so you often hear, what am I reading here?
Lou Bryson.
What?
The rant he had about tariffs and coffee and
Oh my God.
equating that over to
Oh, yeah. So Lou Bryson is a
Distilled Spirits
beer and
Council of the U.S.
He's a beer and Lou Bryson is a beer and whiskey writer.
Yeah.
Well known, affable guy. A guy you want to hang out at the end of the night. Chances are he's got several flasks of whiskey to drink on the on the walk from A to B. He was talking about an NPR story about tariffs and coffee and how the Empire is like, well, these are things that are going to cost more, and chances are you're not drinking Brazilian coffee, but it's in a lot of lower end brands, and so your restaurant coffees are going to go up, and also all coffee is going to go up because of the way demand works. And like, again, if you know that your
Brazil 50%,
50%, and it's all admittedly has no economic basis, is all to punish the Brazilian government for going after their former president for corruption. So our president is doing that to save another former president. Anyway, the phrase I liked, and I didn't sort of talk to him about it, but it was like, he said, this is a tax on American mornings. It's brilliant. This is, this is like the Reagan-esque, Morning in America commercial. This is a tax on American mornings. And I never really explored that in conversation with him online, but he was like, somebody said, well, I guess I just won't go out and get coffee in the morning. I'll just make it myself to save money. I'm like, the point is you're still going to be paying more. Right. And he's like, that was how NPR does a story.
No, Nika.
They do a thing at the end and like, so it's the person's comment about how they're going to roll with this because they just make coffee at home. And it was like completely missing the point. And this is a problem with editorial in some of these stories, is like, it's okay to just say these are bad things. They're not good things.
I was looking back through our exchange of messages here, and that one where one of these THC things is not a break a card, but a tear off like a packet top.
Oh, like you're gonna like put lotion on because you're on an airplane and you give you a little packet. Yeah.
Yes, and it says, "Me when I find out that I can squirt on flights."
Oh my God! So now we're breaking the FAA's rules.
Yes, I'm just gonna use my Fever Tree, maybe ginger ale, and squirt a bunch of THC in there.
Listen, I'm the last person to criticize anyone's individual behavior when they can be discreet about these kinds of things. But for a brand to brazenly advertise this in ways that we could never in our industry.
Right.
And, a subset of these companies are the reasons why we can't participate in this market. That's trouble. Right. That's very troubling. So,
I just want one of the articles I saved was about official beers of universities.
Oh, okay. So we have a couple of those in Arizona.
We do.
We have
O.H.S.O Brewing Company is opening a tavern at the ASU Stadium.
Okay.
And they are the official beer of ASU.
Wonderful. What's it called? Yes. Okay.
Good. There's an amber and a lager. And then
I can't remember that either.
in Tucson, we have Pueblo Vida with I believe it's a Mexican lager and an amber also. And then we have Historic Brewing Company in Flagstaff.
With just gold.
Gold, blue and gold.
Huh.
It's a IPA, and I like it. It comes down here, and it's good. So that's a thing.
So Haas has had a couple of closures of tap rooms, but they've also opened these ones that you're kind of like, this has got to be a short term. I mean, that's contract, right? They have a contract with
ASU.
And when the contract expires, no matter how good that
Everything
business
went.
is, it'll end.
Right.
They had
And then either you renegotiate and
or walk
continue,
away.
or someone else outbids you.
Yeah. And so they also had something at PIR.
Yes.
For a hot minute.
Yeah.
And I don't know that that's still around. It certainly is not around when there's no racing. So I'm just sort of making reference to the more contractual business opportunities instead of long-term fixture pieces. You
And
know?
similar to like airports, where we've had a lot of stability actually
Right.
with breweries going into airports, you're offloading that labor and operations to someone else,
Right.
which is one of the biggest problems in our industry right now is labor
Yeah.
and having the right number of people working in the right place. And if you had a seasonal thing like that, I couldn't imagine how much work that would be for a brewery to manage. You just offload it to Aramark or...
Right. Well, the process of getting people cleared to be able to work in that space would be cost prohibitive.
I have done that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You can't imagine, that and then as an outsider, like arranging transportation, parking.
All right. Little
All that
story about Bonnie Bauman,
Okay.
queen of the podcast. She had a server staffing company, and they did a lot of work at Super Bowl
Uh-huh.
and associated Super Bowl parties around. So we posted up at what was then Fire Sky Resort in Scottsdale, and all of our employees had to come through and get fingerprinted and fill out all the info for an FBI background check so that they could work for a caterer or potentially a bar at Super Bowl. And it was a lot.
Yeah. I worked for a software company and I get security clearance once in a while. And it was a pain in the ass. And I've also had people who worked in the military and they used me as a reference, God knows why. And it got really weird because they started asking about drinking habits and like...
A lot? I know.
It got to be like, well, we had dinner. Oh, so you could tell they were really trying not to disqualify. They're like, oh, so all these things you had dinner. So it was dinner, and you might have had some drinks. I'm like, yes, but it was really like we went out to go drinking and we had to eat.
Well, then after that company, Bonnie went to work for a furniture company that wanted to rent furniture to casino in Arizona. And you have to go through a full FBI background check if you are a manager of that company. Full. So when when the FBI called her to do her interview, the agent really messed with her. It was like, so you're saying this? And she's like, am I not supposed to say that? And he's like, nah, I'm just messing with you.
Have you seen any anecdotal reportage or posts about how Las Vegas is cratering right now because people are not going, and especially international?
Yikes, I have
consumer?
not.
Yeah, I've seen.
I bet that's rough. Like Arizona gets plenty of international tourists, but not like Vegas, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Something to look at. I don't know. Like I've heard people, post pictures and like, you have no idea if that's 2 a.m. on a Monday, because it's inside a casino and it's
empty.
It's the same time all the time,
Yeah.
It's timeless.
Right.
No time ever expires. And then I've had people go, well, I was here on Sunday and look, it's all this. But I would say they're definitely losing a lot of international Asian customers right now. I don't know, man. There's no accounting for how much people will just not want to put up with bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, we're just not that special. Like there's literally a gambling hub in Macau. Like,
Yeah.
why would you go to Vegas? They go to Vegas because of the notoriety, but like after a while, like what's the point?
I mean, Canadian visits are down 36%. Anyways, let's take a quick break.
Okay. Well, we're at the 1 hour mark
Wow.
already.
Then it'll be a quick break, and then we'll come back for some quick wrap-ups.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. Arizona is a wildly beautiful place, brimming with over 100 brewing companies. I'm Rob Fulmer, the Executive Director of the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild. I'm joined by Deputy Director Andrew Bauman. Together we cover the state, bringing you the best of what's happening at our breweries and beyond. Welcome to Arizona Beer Frontier. I haven't seen very many of these, but there's a thing. I guess we're back.
Hey.
There's a thing on Blue Sky, which is the Twitter replacement. Short micro blogging, what they call it. To, for engagement, say, I'll give you one hot take per like. So, in this case, I kind of was following somebody named Hood Canal Cody, who is a brewer, I believe, in Washington State, small brewery, and gives a lot of hot takes. And I guess if this was earlier in the show, I'd read all of them and we could talk about it, but maybe we could do some other time. But one of the ones I remember was, if your favorite brewery has beer at Costco, that brewery is not going to have a good time. So people asked about that, but I have my opinion on that. You have your opinion on that, right? On being in Costco?
I have a very opinion on that, yes. I will not share that today. For the good of the industry.
I left my beer way over here.
Absolutely.
I think depending on the brewery that you have, it can be a great opportunity, but I also think that you're going to have a lot of warm beer. And from what I can tell from people who have done it, they say that you can do great, but you are literally dedicating someone to sample beer out all the time, because that's the only thing that gets people brand aware of your beer, and you're going to get more sales if you are sampling out. So you're going to go through a lot of beer, a lot of employees. It's on the warm shelf, and I don't see an end to that. I don't see where your brand, as a perishable like that, gets enough pull for a long-term thing. I think,
man, back in the day when Phoenix Ale Brewery launched in Costco, very exciting. There were 10 Costcos. They were launching with like 2 brands. It was way back when I was a home brewer. He had homebrewers go in and do the sampling. He said, hey, if you guys want, we could use some help doing this. And people were like, hell yeah. So we went, and I went to the Costco at Paradise Valley Mall.
Okay.
And sampled out beer for Phoenix Ale Brewery. It was very nice. It was fun.
Do you think that's something that would work now?
No, there's not enough people in that club anymore that have time to do that, that are willing to give up a Saturday or a Sunday to do it,
Yeah.
I mean,
it's very labor intensive.
Well, and Costco
They're
doesn't buy things at the price that other retailers buy things at now.
Yeah. The other point was they're going to continuously renegotiate all the time for a lower price.
I have seen these things. Yes,
So
and also very distinct. Exactly what kind of packaging you can have.
so this is
other things.
This is in contrast to wine and spirits, where they really don't. They have a wine person who's really admitted that they treat everything like a commodity and like it's toilet paper. Nevertheless, they have great brands, but the thing is, due to the nature of warehouse storage and all that stuff, those things can just sit, and they have their own timeline on this. They don't need brands to stay; they just need brands. So, and that's not, as a consumer, it can be a great thing. I don't know. That was a great take, because like a lot of people look at it only from the consumer side and they don't understand what it takes. You will not sell if your brand is not well enough known, and like even Fort Peaks has been on and off and on and off, right? They got to be the most well known Arizona brand. You're going to have to devote a lot of time on it and a lot of negotiation, and this is the same sort of argument that people should have about what's that coupon company?
Clipper.
Groupon.
Oh, Groupon, sure.
I've talked to somebody who said there's very few people who have used it to their benefit, because you have to do such a steep discount. And so it was like, here's your coupons, and I don't remember what it is, but you're not getting anything in revenue. So your whole job is, as soon as someone comes in, you have an entire script, and your staff is dedicated to converting them to a customer that buys something else immediately or comes back. And you really have to be dedicated to doing that. And like very few people end up doing it. And unfortunately, this has poisoned the entire sort of concept about discounting and is the Groupon model.
What do you think about like passports? Similar?
No, I think ideally each company should be able to arrive at some sort of program of their own that can be communicated in a coupon or a passport program. Unfortunately, the logistics of that for the passport company are tough. I think they just want one standard deal, easier for them to communicate. But for the businesses, I think they should be able to write whatever deal they want. Now, we've done that for our coupon books, and there's a lifespan because, again, people don't tweak those. People don't understand them. The entire point of being in a coupon book is to bring someone into your place. And after that, it's your job to convert them to a customer. Doesn't matter what's on that coupon at all. At all. In fact, your best experience is someone going there and not giving a shit about the coupon because they either found something they like, or they look at it and go like, why did I want 50 cents off of this? Or why did it's trivial.
Yeah.
That's your ultimate thing. And, that's what some of our businesses, when we put those together, didn't have in mind. I think they didn't give it a lot of thought, or they gave it too much thought. And you don't have to discount your beer. You offer so many other things. There are other things that you can provide besides that. So it's an advertising campaign. It's someone seeing it and going, I always wanted to check that place out. Here's my reason.
Right.
Again, after the sale has been made, and as soon as they arrive in your door.
Right.
That's a hard thing for people to understand sometimes. So
It takes nuance and training.
Yeah, well, and that's the problem when we, as the guild, put that together, is like people go there and they go, well, I went there and they don't know what I'm talking about because the person that wrote the deal didn't have the ability to train all their staff or communicate that.
Turnover happens.
Right.
Yeah.
But also people write the deal with us and forget about it.
Oh, I know.
So, but I think they're valuable. And I think You know, I.
Hey, our breweries need to stay open this summer.
Mm-hmm.
So go into a brewery and buy some beer. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Buy it there.
Buy it there. Absolutely.
So.
I saw a little article. Top 10 best beer names.
Okay.
Which I really hate, like the top 10 stuff. And now it won't let me look at it.
Well,
cool. Never
mind.
mind.
You remind me of another take.
Yeah.
This guy had.
Oh,
Cody.
Okay.
He was like, because he's got some distillation in his background, and he's like, you know, if you can get your staff to understand and blend beers, like you're going to have a much better experience. And his whole thing when it came to beer names is like, and if you come up with a blend that sticks, it's another reason to name a beer, and that's one of his favorite things is to name things. I know a lot of people hate that part of the. You hate it?
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I come up with names all the time, and sometimes I give them away, but they hardly ever stick.
Yeah.
But I'm never under the gun. Like, well, we need a name for this tomorrow, and you know it's going into a can, and we're going to pitch it to, you know, Kroger. That's that's not a pain point I have. So
Sometimes it's very odd that they put that onto brewers.
Yeah.
Like, we're not the marketing people.
Right.
We're the brewers that make the beer. You have marketing people that do marketing things and understand how marketing works.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. Why would you have the brewer name the beer? Because
sometimes it's the
like
same
you
person.
Said, sometimes they love it.
Yeah.
Sometimes brewers are like, oh, that's fun. Like when I was at the Perch and we were just eating out beer after beer after beer.
Yeah.
And the names didn't matter because it was,
right.
What is it? Yeah. From LA to Tokyo. That was one. Ariana Grande song. A couple Taylor Swift songs.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But if I were running a company, would I want Andrew naming my beers? Please don't.
Well, so when you're in those sort of group situations, unfortunately I fall in the role going, oh yeah, no, that's already a problem. That's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. It's already taken. It's really not that original.
All those things, absolutely true.
Yeah.
Absolutely true.
I'd be the guy they frag.
But that's why it's nice when you just come up with an idea and you're like, hey, I have an idea for a beer name. Use it. It's very nice, Rob.
It's only really come up a couple times. People don't take it.
In my newsfeed, there are a ton of brewery openings and a ton of brewery mergers and a ton of brewery closings.
Okay.
Which is wild.
Okay.
So
go on.
I am trying to curate my algorithm to show me everything beer.
Uh-huh. How are you doing that?
Every time.
What algorithm are you talking about?
When I go in my Google newsfeed.
Google newsfeed.
And
they've added AI component to this now or no?
Well, it's always giving you what you want to see.
Keywords.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just heart everything that has beer.
Okay.
Which means my little list of all the things I've hearted is a bunch of brewery openings, closings, and mergers.
Is this when you're on your phone and you go to your browser and it gives you all this stuff automatically?
Yeah, essentially. I mean, on a Pixel, you swipe past the home screen, you swipe it right, and it brings up a news feed.
Okay.
As I'm talking about.
Mine are all tech, unfortunately.
I mean.
No, I mean, that's what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
Okay, I get you. So you're by hearting them, you're
telling the algorithm, good job, buddy. Good job. But also I found a way to bring back all the ones that you liked.
Right.
So if I'm just hearting beer stuff, now I have a curated list of.
Okay. So
a lot
what do we got
openings, closings, and mergers. It's
anything
wild.
in particular that jumped out at you? Or?
I'm surprised at all of the mergers or breweries that the original owners are selling and then someone else is taking over. There's a lot of those in the feed. And again, this is national, so I like speaking to any particular one doesn't really make a lot of sense, but
got you.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's definitely a trend. I mean, before the break, you mentioned we should probably talk about Jack McAuliffe.
Right.
So Jack McCullough was the original founder, well, the only founder of New Albion Brewing Company. So when people talk about Fritz Maytag, we're talking about the same era. And he passed away recently. He passed away while I was in DC and you were at the
GCOT.
GCOT. I've talked to a couple people, and people either loved him or hated him. But he's definitely a preeminent figure,
right? Founder of craft beer in America, basically.
Yeah, and especially on the DIY side and single proprietor, doing it all and
smaller.
And yeah, and so he was around the era when, like, there was Anchor and there was Sierra Nevada and him, and
his brewery's only open for like 2 years, right?
It was a short period of time for sure, but they were contemporaries without a doubt. Either because you have to imagine there was a roll up when Sierra Nevada wasn't officially open, but working on getting equipment and all that stuff. And
their dairy tanks.
Yeah, dairy tanks. Yeah.
Those are the days, right?
Yeah.
You never hit enter.
Thank you.
Yeah, I saw.
I was trying to see what was on. Oh, surprisingly, water softeners are on my feed.
The U.S. Beer Awards, is that U.S. Beer Cup?
The Beer Open. We had
U.S. Open Beer Championships.
Yeah, we had some Arizona breweries.
Yeah,
do well in that. I think
that is a big thing on our feed. Like there are so many.
Saddle Mountain
and 12 West.
Okay.
Yeah,
look, I got another water filter.
Oh boy,
water softener. I've been researching my credit cards lately because I'm thinking about changing my Amex Platinum for something like the Sapphire Elite. I don't know. It's all about the lounges, airport lounges. So a lot of your premium cards are going to go up. Everyone is trying to create more value in the lounge space.
Right.
But prices are going to go up. That's all I can gather from it right now. They're going up this fall. So if you have a card, time to take a look at examining it and seeing what you're getting out of it. My biggest beef with my Amex card is they changed the guest policy and I couldn't bring a guest in. And then I could because I won't name the figure, but then I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that forever. So I'm not going to spend that much money on a credit card or credit card processing.
Yeah.
My job has changed. So I'm not running it through that as much. And then there's, all those are related to airline points and what airline you pick.
Oh, it's
complicated. It might be something I get good at. I don't know.
I have to fly on, or I'm going to fly on Delta in a couple weeks, which I don't know I've ever done.
Salt Lake?
Yeah.
So that just sort of brings up something that I do want to explore when we talk about SAC or the Sister Cities program or any of these organizations that put Arizona in touch with the rest of the world. It's like, what opportunities are there now that we know that we're shutting the door to a lot of foreign customers. I don't know. I would like to focus on that or bringing travel experiences to people, because every time I was talking to Heather, Joseem's husband, her wife, I mean, and she asked me where I was traveling to, and I tell her all the things I would go to, and I'm like, look, like these are things I like to do, but like nobody wants all of it, but somebody wants a piece of this. And we were talking about Montreal and we were talking about New York City. And I said, yeah, like sometimes I just like to go and where they filmed a movie or whatever. I said, I went to Paul's Boutique, Beastie Boys. So some of these things resonate with people, but like nobody ever like puts them in their itinerary. what would that mean in Arizona? Because like a lot of these I get from Atlas Obscura, but I don't think it's really deep enough. And you know how sometimes as in Arizona, and you need someone to say nice things about your state that you sort of appreciate, but you didn't realize how much people appreciate. One of those things, and I know you're going to have some heartache about this. Everybody asks me about Pizzeria Bianco all the time. And I say, it's good to go there if you've never gone. If you get in there, it's probably more accessible than it's ever been. There's not as much of a wait. But you should know that there are 7 or 8 or 9 pizza places that definitely have their start in because he did that. Yeah. It elevated a lot of people. I don't know. There's stuff like that.
Speaking of Craft 64, I went there the other day, and that pizza was banging.
Yeah. Yeah. They won, some award on that.
It was so good.
They got a national recognition.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, I was surprised how much when I did the Super Bowl discussion with John Hall, because we were hosting that year, about Sonoran hot dogs. And, the difference between, and I was like, look, here's what you would know as a local. Like, if you get it from a stand, you're going to get a toasted bun. If you get it from brick and mortar, it's going to be steamed. They're both good, but I prefer getting it from a stand and being on the street and eating the hot dog.
Yeah.
But,
I've had so many hot dog discussions this week. I really need a hot dog. Like, I'm jonesing for one right now.
Well, when we went to Kitsune for the meeting, can't remember the name of it now. That there's a very nice Sonoran dog place right around the corner from him, but it was closed. It was this Monday afternoon or something like that.
Right.
Lupitas.
Ted's is always open.
Lupitas. Well, you want to go to Ted's? We can go to Ted's. We can go to Ted's. We can shut this down right now and go to Ted's. Ted's from Buffalo, New York.
Whether we're shutting it down to go to Ted's or not, we should definitely be shutting it down.
Awesome.
I think we've reached the limit of people wanting to hear us blather on and on.
Although
we could do it for hours.
I don't care who's listening at all. At all. Good to spend some time with you. The remote thing works, but it's not as cool as hanging out.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, remember, this is not a beer podcast. It's a podcast about beer.
Right. And sometimes the beer finds you.
Even if it comes from Pizza Port Brewing Company in San Diego, where you go to the brewery and watch an Arizona brewer do a collab with them.
Yeah, I got to find out what the status of that beer and when it's coming to Tucson.
Yeah.
I know you're going down there in a week or so.
Yep.
So maybe reach out and we'll figure it out. But this is the last of my San Diego stash. And as you know, I don't put beer on planes anymore. This is only because we drove.
You don't put beer on planes anymore?
No, I don't bring beer back from.
I didn't know that was a hard rule with you these days.
Pretty much.
Huh.
If I got to check a bag, man, my trip is ruined.
Could not agree more. Absolutely, totally. All right. Thanks for listening. Make sure and smash that like and subscribe button. Did I do it right?
Sure.
Smash something.
You see us put a $5 bill in our pocket. That works too.
Cheers.
Cheers.